Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristin. I blog at lifeofstones.com where we share our personal financial journey to help you budget your best life. This week I want to talk to you about kid commissions. Now this is a video that's been on my to-do list for months and months now, and I just kept pushing it off to the side. I don't know why. I think I felt like I needed to prepare for this video, but it's actually really simple. So I decided to just grab a quick cup of coffee, sit down on my couch, and chat with you about how we do our kid commissions. So I hope you'll grab a cup of coffee yourself and join me. Sorry for my Sherpa here, but it is freezing in my house. I don't know why it's so cold today. So I got all cozy and I just want to talk to you today about how we pay our kids commissions. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for being here. I make videos mostly about saving money, living on a budget, paying off debt, and if you like what you see, I hope you'll subscribe. Today, we're talking about kid commissions. Now, I think the first important thing to clarify before I keep going is, why do I always say kid commissions instead of allowance? So when we were kids, we got allowances, right? Well, if we were lucky, we got an allowance. We used to call it an allowance until we went through Financial Peace University, and they talk about this concept in Financial Peace University, and I think for me, it just something clicked. I've never been afraid of hard work. My parents have always worked so hard their whole life and set a great example for us. And I think there's something about the word allowance that denotes entitlement, and I do not want to raise entitled children. I think this world is filled with enough entitled people these days, right? I really want them to understand that commission means they get paid for work. They're not just given money every single week just because they're here, just because they live here, just because they're alive. Like, that's not how the world works. One thing I learned through our debt-free journey is it is really our responsibility to shape their views on money, and our responsibility to teach them and really try to prepare them as much as possible for that big world outside our front door. And I don't feel like giving them money every week just to give them money is the way I want to handle that. Of course, there's no judgment here. You can call it whatever you want, give your kids whatever you want. That's totally your decision. This is just what works for us and what I feel comfortable doing with my children. That's the first thing. That's the difference between commission and allowance. The second thing for us is I do not think it's okay to be paid money every single week to do chores when doing chores is part of being in a family. I always tell my kids, and I know some people are probably going to judge me for this, and that's okay, but I always tell my kids that everything here is mine and their father's. It's not theirs. Nothing is theirs. Even their possessions are ours because they're in our house. So their room, for example, is our room that we allow them to stay in because they're our kids and we're going to provide them with shelter. But the reason I tell them that is because I explain to them that's why it's important for them to keep their rooms clean and take care of their rooms and take care of their possessions. And I'm trying to almost teach them in a way that they have to take care of their bedroom because really it's our bedroom that we're letting them borrow while they're living here for 18 years. Because when I tell my kids to clean their room, what I was getting back for a long time was, why do I have to clean my room? It's my room. Why do you care if my room's dirty? So that's kind of where that came from. My response would be, no, actually it's my room and I let you stay in it. So you're going to keep that room clean or you can sleep in the hallway. Now, I tend to be very strict, and I know sometimes people don't agree with my parenting choices, and that's okay. But that is how I run our household. And they have to partake and help out in things just because they're living here, right? Because it's everybody's job to pitch in and help clean up the house and take care of the home and take care of our possessions. So I don't give them an allowance or even commission just because they're cleaning up their room each week. Each child has a couple chores that they're responsible for every single week, and if they're not done, then they obviously won't make any commission regardless of what else they do. My children are 13 and just about 10, so they're a little bit older and they can handle a little bit more responsibility. My son's chore is to clean the bathroom that he shares with his sister, and obviously clean his bedroom each week. That means dust and vacuum his bedroom, put everything away, and that also means straightening it up and keeping it straightened up throughout the week. My daughter's chores are the same with her room, and then instead of the bathroom, she is responsible for vacuuming the steps every single week and vacuuming both sets of our couches in our living room and family room because we have 3 pets, so it's important to me that they're vacuumed off each week. Now, if they do those chores and they do them very well and they help out the other chore that they're responsible, there's a couple other things they're responsible for doing. My son is responsible for taking the recycling out each week. Now he gets off a little easy because it doesn't necessarily have to go out each week. And my daughter is also responsible for wiping down the front and back door each week as well. In addition to that, they both have to empty the dishwasher every time the dishwasher is run. They split that chore each time. That way one kid empties one rack, the other kid empties the other rack. They're done and it's really quick. And then also throughout the week, they have to help with the pets. They have to do any chores that I ask them to do throughout the week that need to be done. They have to make sure that they're putting all of their stuff away after school. The other thing I have them do is help with the laundry. They're usually responsible for doing their own laundry, which probably only equates to about 1 full load a week. I often ask them to help switch the laundry from the washer to the dryer, take it upstairs, fold. They have to help me unpack the groceries if they're home and put them away. What they get is $3 commission every single week. Dave Ramsey recommends paying them on a weekly basis so that they see that their work earns them money instead of having to wait a couple weeks to get the money every time they do the work. So my kids, if they do all of their responsibilities and they don't complain, that's the key. If I have to force them into doing these chores and help out each week and they're whining and moaning and complaining, I'm not going to pay you for that because that wouldn't be tolerated at a real job either. Well, it shouldn't be tolerated at a real job. I guess sometimes it is. But I want them to understand that hard work comes with a reward, and that reward is obviously your pay. Now, the other thing we do with our kids, and this will be forthcoming in another video, is we make them budget their money into give, save, and spend envelopes. The one thing I started doing recently was allowing them to keep this entire $3. It's only $3, and you know, we made it $3 because we were still paying off debt, and I wasn't about to fork over $50 a month on kid commission. So it was low. Once we're done with baby step 3, we'll probably bump that up a little bit, and a raise would come with increased responsibilities as well. Especially as they're getting older, they need to start doing some extra chores. So what I started to do is allow them to keep their full $3 because what was happening is that if they get $3, they're literally only keeping $1 of that a week. And I just didn't feel like that was enough money. Now, when we give them a raise, we'll probably change that and they will have to budget some of that money. What they do use their envelopes for is anytime they get birthday money, Christmas money, money from a grandparent or money from a holiday, then they have to take that money and put some in save, some in give. So I allowed them to keep the $3 each week because at the end of the month, it's really only $12 if they earn all of their money each week. They also have the option sometimes if they're trying to save up for something, they can ask me if I have any extra commission chores, and usually I'll think of something I need done around the house and I'll tell them they could maybe vacuum the downstairs for $1 or $2, or water all my plants outside for $1, or I'll think of something. Every chore is usually just $1 for us. Every once in a while I'll offer something for $2, but for the most part, you know, I don't want to just be handing a ton of money out for them to do something teeny tiny. I want them to understand that, you know, if you want to earn money, it's hard work and you really have to put time into it and it has to be done right. That's another thing. I inspect their rooms and I inspect the rest of their chores after they do that. And if they're not done correctly, they either won't get paid or they can redo them and fix them to earn their commission. We keep it really simple around here. You know, I used to have all these charts printed and laminated, and I'm extra nerdy. So I would hang them up in their room and hang them up downstairs. And I just felt like it was kind of more trouble than it was worth. Now that I work from home, I'm home all the time and I see what they do and I know how they help out. And it's kind of up to my discretion if I feel like they've earned their commission or not. And I usually give them a warning a day or two in advance, like, hey, you know, Tuesday's payday and you haven't really done much to help out around here. So if you want to earn your full commission, I suggest you get your room picked up and I suggest you find some chores you can do to help out around the house. Otherwise, I take money out when I get our money to stuff our cash envelopes. If you've seen any of my cash envelope videos, then you'll see I usually ask for $10 to $15 in ones. I'll link those videos up here and you can check them out. And I put the ones in their kid commission cash envelope, and that way I always have cash to pay them when it's payday. Because, you know, again, I know it's not a real job, but how frustrated would you be if you did your work at your job and you didn't get paid? So if I want to try and set a good example for them that they get paid for working, I really am sure that I have cash on hand to pay them when it's payday. That's really our whole system around here. It's very simple. Every once in a while we will switch the chores up if they get monotonous or one's maybe complaining about something that they don't like doing. Sometimes they'll switch or trade. And otherwise, that is how we run our kids commission system in our home. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below. I will answer them the best that I can. And I thank you for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.